If you're anything like me, you've probably spent a ton of time researching different morning routines, how to have a successful morning routine, and all of the different benefits, pros and cons, and heck, you may have even tried a couple of different ones and they never seem to really stick. If that sounds like you, then you've come to the right place and this video is perfect for you because I was in the same boat. I spent so much time researching the best kind of morning routine and trying to figure out what would be the optimal way to set up my day. And I would often set up these different ideas of routines. I would do them for a little bit of time and then I would completely fall off the wagon and revert back to my poor morning routine, which typically included waking up and scrolling on social media for quite some time. So I am proud to say that I have actively been on this morning routine for quite some time now. It has stuck finally, and it is something that I feel really, really good doing. Every single day, I start my day off on a really positive note, and it has been something that is a lot more attainable for me. And I think I've honestly figured out a true formula for how you can stick with a morning routine and make it work for you. And so it's gonna be custom to you and your preferences and what you're trying to accomplish in your life. But I think that this formula is something that just about anyone can apply and see success with. So let's dive right in to my exact morning routine formula. All right, so I've got this all written out right here. I'm going to run through exactly what I do in my morning routine. Then I'm going to give you the formula, and then I'm going to give you a couple of bonus hacks to make sure that this actually works for you, okay? So first things first, my morning routine, and one that I've stuck with for quite some time, is I like to wake up early. I do tend to let myself sort of wake up naturally, which typically is right around 6 a.m. For the longest time, I was a big alarms person, and I would wake up even earlier than that. But I found that this is the time that my body feels the best and most rested, and that is just when I sort of naturally wake up. So I wake up around 6 a.m. I do have an alarm for 6 a.m. in the event I haven't already woken up, but I'm almost always up before my alarm. Then I try not to reach for my phone or social media for at least the first 30 minutes or so. I don't have a strict time on this, but I just make a really intentional effort to not get on social media early in the morning. Next step, and I think this is the most important piece, is a meditation practice. Now, if you've never meditated before, or maybe you've tried it and just didn't really feel like it was for you, I would really encourage you to give it another shot and try to stick with it. I honestly, if I had to choose one thing that I think has made one of the biggest impacts of my life, it is a meditation practice, especially early in the morning. Now, I could get very scientific on you, but I'll spare you those details and instead just tell you the reason for this is because of your theta brainwaves. So there's actually different ways that your brain operates. You have different brain waves, and those make you more or less receptive to kind of new concepts and expansion and growth and accomplishment. And your theta brainwaves are when your mind is sort of the most penetrable. It's when it's the most easy to reprogram. And so if you're trying to create new habits, or if you're trying to reach new goals or achieve new levels of success that you have not yet previously accomplished, your theta brainwaves are the best time to influence your mind. And so it's really important to meditate before you go to bed or right when you've woken up. Now, meditation is great at any point throughout the day, but this is when you'll find that it is probably A, a little bit easier to do, and B, that it is a bit more influential. So for me personally, I have this headband that I wear and it actually measures my brainwaves, so I'm able to track my progress on my meditations. I just love nerding out over that stuff. You absolutely don't need anything special in order to be successful with a meditation practice. And then I typically like to use a guided meditation from something like YouTube, but you can there's all kinds of different meditation apps and different things that can guide you through it. Or you can simply sit or lie there in silence for a period of time and really just try to silence your thoughts. The whole thought behind meditation is that you're trying to just quiet the mind and really be present in the moment. So whichever works best for you, but I would encourage you to mess around with it a bit and find something that really sticks. I find that a 15-minute meditation tends to be my personal favorite, but again, try and figure out what's going to work best for you. After the meditation phase, it's time to visualize. Typically after meditation, I feel really inspired. I feel really centered. I feel really positive. I'm just in a good mental space. And so I use this time, especially when my brain is extra penetrable, to do some of my visualizations about what I want my life to look like in the short term and in the long term. And so I actually created a photo album on my phone where I've saved images and video clips that really embody my vision board and what I want my life to look and feel like. Then I go into that photo album and I scroll through things. I'll watch some of the video clips and I really try to feel and embody and just like embrace the feeling of what it would be like to be in that moment as if that is my life. After that, I do a little bit of journaling. I used to do a lot more journaling. I would sit and write for quite some time. Right now, that doesn't fit into my schedule quite as much, but I do always make time to do at least 3 gratitudes, so 3 things I'm grateful for, and to set an intention for the day. So typically for me, this looks like writing out what would my awesome day look like today? Like if today was a success, what would be done? So I'll write that out and I'll really choose a specific intention. If you are new to journaling or you haven't done that before, there is something called the 5-minute journal that I think is an amazing framework to start practicing a good journal practice. But anything to get your thoughts onto paper is really the goal here. Right after that, I moved directly into a Bible study. Now, if that is not your thing, by all means, you can replace that with something that makes more sense for you and your lifestyle. That's something that's really important to me. So I do my devotional, Bible study, and I just spend a bit of time in the Word to make sure that I am really setting myself up for success for the day. After that, I get a little bit ready. I don't do a full routine of getting ready until much later in the day, but I get a little bit ready and then it's time to head to a workout. I always like to prioritize getting active throughout the day, whether that is actually going to the gym and doing a workout or going to Pilates or simply going for a little walk around the block. And I do find that this helps me just kind of kickstart my energy for the day as well. After that, I can roll into my day however I choose, but that is my personal morning routine. And so I wonder if you've picked out the formula here. If you haven't, let me spell it out for you really, really quickly and easily. I'm going to give you 3 categories that you want to kind of work towards, and you're going to select 2 activities per category. So ultimately, your morning routine will typically have about 6 things within it. Now, one thing I do want to say here is I find it's best to start from where you are with what you have. If you have nothing in a morning routine right now and your mornings are always different, or you wake up a little bit in a rush and kind of anxious and just doing whatever is flying right at you immediately when you wake up, then it's okay to start with a much smaller and more simplified routine and build on that gradually, okay? So don't stress yourself out with thinking that you need to have this laundry list of things to do in the morning, and instead just try to start creating small, simple, healthier habits and let those compound on themselves over time. So here's the formula for you. You're going to pick 2 of the following 3 categories: physical, mental, and intentional. So I want you to choose 2 things that are going to physically impact your morning routine. So that could be getting active, that could be stretching, maybe it's chugging water, maybe it is doing some yoga, and maybe it is, going for a quick walk, whatever it is, 2 things that have a physical impact on your body. Then you're going to choose 2 things that have to do with the mental side of your morning. So again, I would highly encourage one of those to be meditation, but it's up to you. So something like meditation, journaling, prayer, Bible study. It could be listening to an audiobook or a podcast, or journaling, writing down something motivational, setting an intention for the day. Those are all things that are going to fuel you mentally. And I think it's a really awesome thing to select 2 of those that you can focus in on to kickstart your day. And then last but not least is intentional. So intentional really is just that we are trying to get connected and really present in the moment. And so a couple of things you could do intentionally would maybe be like reaching out to somebody who's important in your life. If you spent each morning of a month just thinking of someone that you could send a nice message to, or that you could acknowledge or appreciate, express your gratitude towards, that would be a really powerful and positive impact on your life. But it can also just be related to your intentions for the day, to setting your gratitude, to just putting yourself in the right mental state to go out and start tackling your day. So like I said, if you just choose 2 small things in each of those categories, I think that's the perfect formula to kickstart a morning routine. Now, 3 quick bonus tips for you before you go to make sure that you have the most successful morning routine possible. Number 1 is something called habit stacking. Now, habit stacking is a really powerful concept that can be extremely useful, especially if you are not yet in these kinds of routines. Essentially, habit stacking is where we're going to attach a new habit or routine that we're trying to form with something that we already do every single day. I'll give you a couple of examples. If you were trying to start saying affirmations, if you want to make sure that every single day you're saying your affirmations, try to attach that to something that you already do every single day, like brushing your teeth. If you attach this new habit to something that you already do, it's going to trigger in your mind. The trigger activity is the thing you already do, and the new habit is the thing that you're trying to attach to that. That's as simply as I can put habit stacking. This is a really helpful way to get yourself to continually take the activities that you need to in order to form some better routines. Because honestly, sometimes you just forget what you set out to accomplish that day, so this can help to really simplify it. Bonus tip number 2 is to start small. It is so important to start from where you are with what you have and not overwhelm yourself. So again, if those couple things that I gave you to start out with seem like way too much when it comes to a morning routine and you're not doing anything at all, try to start with just 2 things. And as soon as it starts to become really habitual and you get some of that positive momentum, then you can layer on a few additional things. And before you know it, you'll probably have a really in-depth morning routine, but it'll be so second nature because you're already really used to doing those different things. But never shame yourself for starting small and starting where you are. I always think it is much more impactful to have something last a long time and really be a lifelong commitment rather than starting and saying, oh, I'm going to do these 15 things every morning and then falling short because you just get overwhelmed or you run out of the time to do it. And the last and final tip for you is to set yourself up for success. If one of the things you want in your morning routine is to get active or work out, try laying out that outfit the night before. If you struggle to wake up at a certain time, you want to start waking up earlier, set up an alarm across the room so that you have to get out of bed. If you want to drink more water, set yourself up with having the tools and resources that you need in order to reach the goals and create the routines and habits. A lot of times people will set these goals for themselves and say, oh, I want to do all these new things. I want these new habits or these new routines, but then they're almost working against themselves by not setting themselves up for success. So think about what you can do in your morning routine and then try to even pedal it backwards a little bit more and figure out what you could do to set yourself up for success and really try to get yourself in the right mindset, but also the right environment to make this morning routine stick. And if you guys have any questions or have anything you want to bounce off me about your morning routine, drop it down in the comments. I would be happy to chat with you guys to help you craft your own perfect morning routine because it is one of the things that has helped me the most. Now, thank you guys so much for being here. While you're here, be sure to subscribe, like this video, and drop a comment down below. I am so happy that you are part of our community. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one.